back at it like a good, healthy dental habit. What's going on?
Can you not say dental habit? Can you say snack habit? What's going on, guys? Back at it with another video.
I drive a clan, man.
He likes aggravating me.
Tell him what's going on. Tell him why you talking through your teeth.
Well, because my mouth is stitched up and this is very swell over here. I have 3 new implants put in at the bottom. Just he wanted to make sure everything was sturdy and locked in. So I'm so glad of the new dentist we have, and he's definitely getting a plan where this will be wrapping up soon and very soon.
That's right.
That's what happens when you want to reconstruct your whole mouth and don't really know what it pertains. It looks like it's real easy. Like, oh yeah, I'm going to get the implants put in. Everything is going to go perfect and I'm going to be able to have a beautiful smile and child, please.
That's the cut and dry version of it.
It really just depends on your bone structure, guys, and that's all I can say on that.
Yeah, absolutely right. All right, so we got up, man. You know, we already did the barber slave trade. Now we're going to do Islam on black people. It says, the description says, take a look at the slave market in Saudi Arabia. So Saudi Arabia slave market. So I think that's kind of like what we were talking about on the lines to how did they handle it? Like, I know we did the Arabs on slavery, but I'm curious to see what they're saying about Saudi Arabia on slavery. Let's go. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, dramatic.
In order to make Islam appear attractive to black people, some Muslims say that the Prophet Muhammad was black. Even Allah was claimed to be black as well.
What? Allah
Your phone is
Hear
on
what
the
a
thing
Muslim
now.
said to Malcolm X in this movie.
I tried to act
I'm
like
telling you God's words, not no hustle. And I'm gonna tell you, God is black.
God is black.
Allah is black, Prophet Muhammad is black, Islam is the religion of the Africans. Islam abolished slavery, freed slaves, elevates women, eliminates discrimination.
But actually, there is no evidence of that statement.
Oh.
As a matter of facts, based on Islamic literatures, Prophet Muhammad enslaved people, owned and sold slaves, including several black slaves.
it's a pleasure doing business with you, O Rasulullah.
He was neither black nor African. The Islamic traditions emphasize how white his skin was. Sahih Bukhari 1, number 367. He uncovered his thigh and I saw the white eye of the Prophet. Sunan Abu Dawud, volume 20, number 300. I still seem to see the whiteness of the forearms of the Apostle of Allah. Sahih Bukhari, volume 2, book 17, hadith number 122. And a white person, Muhammad, who is requested to pray for rain. Muhammad was not a white Caucasian, but an Arab man with a relatively fair complexion than most Arabs around him. The repeated statements regarding the whiteness of the Prophet Muhammad's skin are directly related to the meaning of the colors of black and white in Islam. Quran, Surah Ali Imran, verse 106. The day when faces are whitened, and faces blackened. Then, as for the ones whose faces are blackened, did you disbelieve after your belief? Then taste the torment for that you disbelieved. Quran, Surah Az-Zumar, verse 60. And on the day of resurrection thou, Muhammad, sees those who lied concerning Allah with their faces blackened. Is not the home of the scorners in hell? According to these verses, people whose faces are whitened will go to heaven, while the ones that were blackened will go to hell.
Whoa.
If Allah decides some black men go to heaven, then their black faces would be whitened as if there is something wrong with having black skin. Allah wants to be sure that no black face ever show up in heaven.
Oh, it's not like that, bro. Those verses are metaphorical without any racist connotations.
However, there are some hadiths that link black skin and creation with Judgment Day. Mishkat al-Masabi, Volume 1, Chapter 4, Part 2, page 36. Abu Darda. The Prophet of God said, God created Adam, and struck him on the right shoulder, and brought out his white children, you would say they were pearls. Then he struck his left shoulder, and produced his black children, you would say they were coals. And God said, those of the right side are towards paradise, and I have no fear. And he said of those,
Where in the Sam Hill do you get this logic? How do you gather this reasoning from that? OMG, this is crazy.
So slap one shoulder, white. Slap one shoulder, black.
Wow.
The coals. Get the coal out.
Interesting.
the left side, they are towards hell, and I fear not. What does it mean when Allah said I fear not? This is what he means. The expression here twice repeated, in the original La Abali, implies, I have no fear that their future deeds will falsify the sentence which I have now pronounced, seeing I have already predestined all their action. Abdul Haq. So, according to this hadith, Allah already decided all black people he created would go to hell no matter what they did, since he already predestined their fates. This hadith explains very clearly that in Islam, Allah made the destiny of human beings before he created them. He already decided to bless the extremely white-skinned people to heaven and to curse the extremely black-skinned people to hell. It's clear that Allah judges them based on the color of their skin, and that for Allah, white is pure, holy, clean, while black is the opposite of it. In fact, other narrations even command that any person claiming that Muhammad was black be put to death. Muhammad, Messenger of Allah. Ash-Shifa of Qadi Iyad, page 375. Ahmad ibn Abi Sulayman, the companion of Sanan, said, anyone who says that the Prophet was black should be killed. The Nation of Islam teaches that white people are
I felt that sword. I felt the wind from the sword.
You're right, that was the fan.
devils. Their members might want to ponder this statement by Muhammad. The Apostle said,
Whoever wants to see Satan, let him take a look at Nabtul bin al-Harith.
he was a sturdy black man with long flowing hair, inflamed eyes, and dark ruddy cheek.
That's the dude from Tekken.
This is interesting to me.
He used to come and talk to the Apostle and listen to him and then carry what he had said to the hypocrites.
But you have to see the whole context. Nabtal is a hypocrite. That's why the Prophet called him Satan.
There were many hypocrites surrounded the Prophet, but he only called Nabtal, who was black, as Satan. How about calling a black woman as an epidemic? Sahih Bukhari, Volume 9, Book 87, Hadith 161.
I saw in a dream a black woman with unkempt hair going out of Medina and settling at Mahaya, namely Al-Jaffa. I interpreted that as a symbol of epidemic of Medina being transferred to that place, Al-Jaffa.
What? Black woman epidemic.
Ah, come on. That was just a bad dream. No big deal, okay?
This is
Sahih
really
Muslim,
crazy.
Book
You said
10.
what?
This is really crazy.
This is crazy.
Like, who actually believed this?
I mean, I guess this is in the Quran.
And black people who read this and really see it for what it is, follow this
But I
and
think-
accept it as truth.
And people probably look over that part and don't see it as, they probably say like, well, y'all in y'all Bible say you can't, in Leviticus how you can't cut your beard and cut your hair in this time, but so that's maybe they try to compare it to Old Testament.
God don't
thinking.
talk about color.
Yeah.
He don't see color.
Yeah.
He see human.
Now God, one thing he does, he don't talk about color, but he does favor some people, individuals, because
Yeah.
he favor prophets over other. So
And
but
he
don't
talks
say,
about-
he'll say I want the blackest one over
He
here. I want the
talks
one.
about lineage and
Yeah.
heritage
Yeah.
and tribes and but he don't talk about black, white, purple, green, yellow, orange.
At all.
Number 3901. During the time of migration to Medina.
Ya Rasulullah, I want to pledge allegiance with you.
Oh, sure. I'd be more than happy to accept your pledge.
Thank you, Rasulullah. I will migrate with you.
He kind of brown. Okay.
That guy is my slave. I want to have him back, or you can buy him from me.
I didn't know that he is a slave. Okay, I will buy your slave with mine. Here, take my slave.
Huh? He is a black slave, while mine is an Arab slave.
Oh, alright then. Here, have another one.
Dang. 2 for 1.
I still don't get it.
I ain't gonna lie to you. The sim, how they have it sim, is creepy.
I'm just still trying to understand what planted the seed of black as bad.
Good question.
That's what I want to know.
Or is it just ingrained, just naturally, like an instinct? You know, that's what I'm thinking. But we'll look up. But I'm saying it's already apparently, according to his readings, I haven't read this myself, but it was in the Quran.
Exactly,
so
in the Bible. So they interpreted it incorrectly. Or he lied. They lied. That was a lie.
I lost my property because of that guy. That was several thousand dinars gone.
Rasulullah, there is another guy want to pledge allegiance with you.
Is he a slave or a free man? I don't want to lose more property.
Apparently, at that time, the price of one Arab slave is equal with 2 black slaves.
Wow.
Prophet Muhammad saw his black slaves as his currency. Here is another hadith about Prophet Muhammad's black slave. Malik's Muwatta, Book 21, number 21.13.25. During the year of the attack of Khaybar, Prophet Muhammad got a new black slave named Medam.
Yeah, fresh haircut.
When Medam was unsaddling the camel of the Prophet, a stray arrow struck and killed him. People came and said, "Oh, he died as a martyr. He must be in heaven now." But the Prophet said,
"No, by he in whose hand myself is. The cloak which he took from the spoils on the day of Khaybar before they were distributed will blaze with fire on him."
What?
Just to clarify, Muhammad had sex with a 9-year-old girl, robbed caravans, and beheaded hundreds of Jews, but he's good. His black slave, by contrast, grabbed a cloak before the spoils were divided, so he's headed to hell. Welcome to Islam. Mindlessly obeying Muslim leaders was so important to Muhammad that when he wanted to emphasize obedience, he told his followers that they had to obey even the worst leader imaginable. We find Muhammad's worst-case scenario in Sahih al-Bukhari 7142.
You should listen to and obey your ruler, even if he was an Ethiopian black slave whose head looks like a raisin.
So, the worst possible leader of a community of Muslims, according to Muhammad, would be a black slave.
Look, you're not being honest and fair here. One of the best Sahaba was Bilal, and he was a black guy, who was freed by Abu Bakr. We uphold and love Bilal because of his dedication to Islam.
Bilal was a slave before he converted to Islam and continued to be a slave after that. Sahih Bukhari, Volume 5, Book 87, Hadith 99. Narrated Qais, Bilal said to Abu Bakr,
"If you have bought me for yourself, then keep me for yourself, but if you have bought me for Allah's sake, then leave me for Allah's work."
The hadith explains that, after Prophet Muhammad died, Bilal asked Abu Bakr to set him free. He wouldn't ask Abu Bakr such a request if he was not a slave anymore.
Bilal is a good slave, and a great blessing from Allah. I don't think Allah wants me to lose his blessing.
Which one is the prophet? This white guy. What does Satan look like? That black guy. Now how did a religion that was inaugurated by a white prophet who had black slaves and referred to Ethiopians as raisin heads, and said that Satan looks like a black man ever get the reputation it has among African American Muslims today? Well, in the West, there's a general atmosphere of ignorance about Islam. People don't know even the most basic facts about Muhammad and the Quran.
Clearly.
And this allows Muslim preachers to say whatever they want about Islam, because no one's going to correct them. So if a Muslim preacher is talking to a woman who's interested in women's rights,
Muhammad was a champion of women's rights.
If he's talking to someone who has a high regard for science,
the Quran is a scientific masterpiece, filled with miraculous scientific insights that were only verified centuries later.
If he's talking to someone who's concerned about racial justice,
Islam is the religion that liberates slaves and establishes racial equality.
Absolute nonsense. But people convert to Islam because they believe what they're told and don't bother reading the Muslim sources to see if the preacher's story checks out.
Yo.
Wow.
Wow. That's all I can say. Look, I'm trying.
I mean, so did not know any of that.
Me either.
So how in the world do people continue to believe something and they don't really know all the true facts? I mean, I guess I can understand how whatever
Well,
you
yeah,
what you
I
think
mean, of course.
what you think your what you think the true interpretation is, but clearly, so that's it.
That's just like, remember, like I told you, like we were talking about earlier today. That's like somebody who doesn't read the entire Bible to understand how God worked, what He did in people, how God was, his temperament, and then you just go and you ain't read the Bible, but then you are a paraphrase pastor. You get what I'm saying? Like, you don't know the Bible entirety, but then you're gonna read the scripture, take this one little bit and use it for yourself, and not knowing the context of what he was talking about or who he was talking to. That's the same thing like that. You kind of like picking and choosing.
But it clearly states, so that just goes back to say what I said. The derivative of where black was bad came out of philosophy.
It did.
And how they interpreted philosophy and how they wanted others to interpret philosophy. He just clearly made up some stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, touch a shoulder and it's pearls, and touch the other shoulder and it's coals. You got to be kidding me.
But then they had the guy who was supposed to be more like the preacher. And that's true, because I watch a lot of David Lynn's. He's a street pastor, and he was going against somebody they were debating. The guy was Muslim, and he was debating with them. And it's like, I see, and then every time David Lynn would hit him with this and that, that person would skip over this and question with another question. So I'm like, so.
And then I guess people were afraid to challenge back then because they may not have had,
or to this day, because how if you ever see a Muslim debating, it comes hard and it's kind of like frustrated. Like, I don't know, like I'm trying to explain it, but every time I see like a Muslim debating a Christian, it always comes like more on a frustrated standpoint. Prove you're wrong, you blah 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 blah. And so people might not want to, if you ain't got the power to go against somebody like that, or you don't have the biblical knowledge strong enough to go against somebody like, you're gonna step back, because probably a little insecure.
But Muhammad was never a savior. Muhammad never laid hands. Muhammad never was Muhammad never died for anybody's sins.
And Muhammad never raised either from the dead.
Right.
We're gonna leave it at that, so we don't get it. So people don't jump in and start trying to attack the comment section.
Right. Interesting.
But
facts.
Wow.
Facts.
Okay. Like, comment, subscribe. Don't take a nosedive, but comment in the section below if you want some more, especially if you want more stuff like this. We want y'all to want more, because we want to watch it more.
All right.
All right, man.